Hello, welcome.
Hi.
We are so happy you're here. This is Glitter and Cat Litter. I am Nicole Fiore.
And I'm Taylor Fiore.
And this is our very first episode.
Yes. This episode is going to be a little bit different than all the rest because we thought it would be very nice to take the time to explain who we are, a little background on the name and why we're doing this and what we want to accomplish with this podcast.
Yeah.
If you like us and you want to support us on our website, tnfury.com, or on YouTube, you can go to the memberships and you'll get the episodes early on Thursdays. Otherwise, all of our episodes are coming out on Tuesdays at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And enjoy.
Glitter and Cat Litter.
Okay, so we should just get into who we are. Because, I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I can't even say I know people know who I am. I don't think, at least as far as YouTube goes, I'm in a lot of your videos, but I don't know that people know who I am. So.
You're in for a real treat.
Who goes first? You go first? I go first? I feel like you should go first.
I should go first. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like it makes
Sure.
a lot more sense for the owner of the channel, the YouTube, goes first.
Are you French?
No, but
He's not French.
I'm just trying to. I threw the Italian hand in there. Gosh, I am a disaster right now, guys.
Okay. Hi, I am Nicole Fiore. I roller skate. I'm a roller skater. I have roller skated for my entire life. And I now teach people how to roller skate. There's a lot more I want to tell about myself other than that. But Taylor.
But what?
No,
Why?
You just let them in for a little treat because I feel like I talk a lot on the internet and I feel like Taylor does not talk a lot. You don't talk a lot on the internet. And I want people to get to know you right away. So I can explain a little more about myself, but I want you to leave a little nugget about you.
just a little nugget. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm Taylor. Taylor Fiore. Fiore.
That's how you actually say it. I say it wrong every time.
It means flower, one singular flower in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be mistaken with Fiori, which is an I at the end, which is multiple flowers. There's your Italian lesson for the day.
And then how do you say outside?
Fuori.
Wow.
So many words. It's great. We're learning Italian. It's fun. We're having fun here. I am her husband. I don't know that would be my best describing thing. I don't know why I'm hesitating here either.
But we are married, yes.
Yes, we are married. We'll get there. I'm an artist, I guess, would be the best way to describe what I do, what I am. I'm a musician first. I'm a photographer. I'm a videographer. I like making stuff. I like creating things. I have a hard time sharing it on the internet with everybody, but I do it, and I'm getting better at that part. And, I also like talking a lot, but most people don't know that.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I am the one who talks on the internet a lot and talks for a living, basically, teaching people how to skate. And Taylor is actually the one who talks a whole lot more than me.
I would say today, very specifically last 48 hours, I would say
every day of our existence.
I would say that every day of our existence, if there's 24 hours in the day, I probably derail Nicole's day with at least an hour and a half of probably not that useful conversation.
But it is useful.
There's nuggets in there.
There's nuggets. So there are a lot of hours in the day. I would say today today was a big one. Yesterday was a big one too. So there are moments throughout the day where Taylor has these wise, just like he's overcome with this wisdom. And I sit there and just watch him talk to me and I listen for hours.
I hope it would be called absorbing the wiseness.
It's called wisdom. I caught it.
Well, at least one of us is here.
So yes, no, you're saying that I absorb it?
Well, you're saying
I
you
would
watch
hope.
me talk, so I'm really hoping that you're absorbing the wisdom, less so watching me talk.
Sometimes I do have to just watch you talk. But anyway, that is not the point here. The point is that it's funny that I am the one who, from the outside, you would think that I am the outgoing one, the one who's like, yes, I want to talk all the time. In reality, that's Taylor. Taylor is the one who talks nonstop.
True. It's hard to get her to talk, actually.
When we leave parties, I have to tell him I want to leave like an hour before I actually need to leave, because he will just continue talking. And I have to like tell everyone else in the room, everyone else at the party, that I have to leave, so that they're like, Taylor, you have to go.
It's like this ruse against me a little bit. I like enjoying conversation, it's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
It's
and
great.
This is why we have a podcast now.
Maybe it'll make me talk less at parties.
I really don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay, tell us a little bit more about you. Come on.
Okay, I love baseball. I love food. I love drinks. I love television. I love television. Taylor doesn't like to watch TV shows.
That's kind of changed, though. Apple TV has really changed.
It has.
Oh, in such a good way. That can be at least an episode on its own. But man, I really love some of those Apple TV shows. Those are really good. But if you're going on like all the little things, like I like Star Wars. You'll notice with my tattoos, I happen to be wearing a Star Wars shirt. This is going to be, I don't even know if he'll watch this, but I'm wearing this because I found out today that my friend Braden also bought this shirt, and we did not know.
No.
We did not know. He sent me a photo today, and he's wearing this shirt, and I go, he sent me a photo showing his tattoo that he just got, but it's literally the shirt's in the background, and I'm like, that's not me. There's no way he bought the same shirt as me.
You guys are so in sync.
So
and the Mets and the Dodgers played, and that's his team and your team.
So we have the same cameras, the same shirts. We don't have the same tattoos yet.
That's so cute.
We get the same hats. But mine's Dodgers, his is Mets, and then the Dodgers and Mets are playing. So it's a whole day of stuff. So Braden,
awesome.
if you make it into watching this
or listening,
we're here for you. But I like Star Wars. I love technology stuff. Art is unreal.
Yeah.
Visual art, digital art, real art, physical art.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like food a lot. I really like pizza. We had waffles for dinner. That was so good.
We had waffles for dinner. That's a little side note. I have not gone to the grocery store, I think, at all this week. And
we have not gone to the grocery store.
Yeah, but I usually go to the grocery store. We have not gone to the grocery store.
Where are you going?
You went to the grocery store yesterday.
What? Yeah, I did go to the grocery store.
But you didn't get any food. Well,
no, because I know that's a stickery slope.
Taylor also loves stickers too.
You used to. I don't really care so much anymore.
Anyway,
stickers don't bother
no, I was just going to elaborate on the waffles. We don't
need to elaborate on the waffles.
Oh, they were really good.
They were good waffles. Okay. Back to where we were going. Are you done explaining yourself? Did you get enough out? Have you explained enough about you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we've been together for, it is 10 years now, right? No, it's almost 10 years. It's 9 and a little more. A little schmutz past 9.
A schmutz.
Yeah, just a schmutz past 9. And we've been married for 5.
Yeah.
That's a little more than a schmutz past 5. I can't even say it now.
Stop saying that.
Okay, I can't say it. So we've been married for a little over 5 years, and we've been working together full time for like 3-ish years, a little more than 3 years, right?
And we're still here. We're doing it.
Doing well, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's not the fake YouTube, podcast, internet well. I would genuinely say well.
We're genuinely doing well. I would say better than ever.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I wouldn't directly say that that's because we work together.
No.
But it's not because we work together, it's kind of one of those fine lines there, it's kind of that.
But working together and being around each other all the time is very, very interesting. Not necessarily weird for us, but more weird for our friends and people we know.
It's a very interesting thing because I've never once thought about it until well, I don't ever think about it on a daily basis until someone brings it up or someone makes it like there's no way I could ever do this with my spouse or do that with my spouse. And I'm like, isn't the point, well, this is also, I understand that a lot of relationships have very different dynamics,
Yeah.
but isn't the point of spending the rest of your life with this person to literally spend the rest of your life with this person? I understand that people like their own space. I personally don't care. She works in technically this room when it does not look like this, right over there.
Yeah.
And I work in the other room right over there. It literally eyesight 8 feet away.
Yeah. I
Every
just have
day.
to lean a little bit to see him most of the time.
Yeah, but so I bring that up because why are we doing this? Why are we making this podcast?
Well, besides you talking a lot and wanting people to hear you talk and enjoy you, the past few years have been a huge transition and transformation for us in our lives. And I've always wanted to talk a little bit more about these things and kind of explain why we do things, and not just about us, but talk to our friends as well, because we have a lot of interesting people in our lives. And just through creativity and through things that we do, I find that there are so many conversations that Taylor and I have together and that we have with our friends that I would really love to share with people and share with hopefully a lot of people, because I do think that a lot of the things we talk about and go through daily would be beneficial for other people to hear. And then aside from that, Taylor and I have really started focusing in on our own health and well-being, and we have learned a lot over the past year. And while I don't want this to fully be a health and wellness podcast, there's a whole lot more about creativity and art and work and all of that. There is a lot to say about that, about the health and wellness side of things.
Yeah, I would say that the point of this podcast, the point of this podcast would be that we want to talk about growth, whether that be with relationships or creative growth. And, I just want to keep the conversation flowing. Like, she and I literally have conversations every day, as we've previously said, that I can talk for a very long time. Sometimes wise, sometimes very not wise. But we talk a lot, and there's a lot of conversations that, like, a few days later or a week later, oh my God, I've touched it twice now. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm going
He's
to stop.
Italian. He talks with his hands.
But we have a lot of conversations that we talk, and they really do. I come back to them and I go like, that, even though it could have been just the silliest little conversation while we're making lunch or while, something's happening, that it just connects, and I feel like it changes so much of what we do that, like, I want to share that with people. Like, there's so much that can be shared. And like, if it's a conversation that we're having that's like affecting me and potentially changing our lives, why are we not sharing it with people? Like, why don't we share it with people? It's not like we can't have these conversations with a camera and all the fancy lights. I mean, we literally already have it all.
Yeah.
So it's like, I genuinely want to. I'm actually very excited about it, which is weird for me a little bit. Makes you happy, which is a good
It makes me
thing.
very happy.
But it's exciting, and the health and wellness is very cool. Like, I'm very excited about that, or with our new arm of leg, whatever, of the business that we have that we're doing with that. I think it's really, really fun. And I guess going back into why we're doing this is like, I really want to have more conversations with the people that I really care about and the people that are really important to us, and that like actually have something really cool to offer that I think that everyone could benefit from.
Yeah. And it's like sharing your thoughts, sharing a part of you with the world can be scary. And I've been doing it now for a few years, and I'm really excited to share more, because it's like actually like talking about my life and my thoughts and all of that is so much scarier to me than teaching someone how to roller skate. Like teaching someone something that I have done for a very long time that I am super passionate about, that I really have a lot of knowledge. Like I always say, I have so much knowledge about this in my brain. Please just let me tell you. That that's it comes naturally, but talking about myself and being vulnerable and like talking about thoughts, and then especially with you, like that actually scares me. Um, which I think it's good to admit that I'm scared. But I think it's really important. And like I said, over the past few years, like really creating this community and getting to know so many people that I didn't know before, I realize how helpful it is to talk and to have those conversations, because you never know who's going to hear it and who needs to hear it. And then back at us, like just opening up conversation in general, I think is super important, because why not? Well, we're here living our lives. Why not share and try to help each other out?
A little nugget this just made me think of is like a lot of people, we will definitely dive deeper into this, but a lot of people are like, how on earth do you two work together? And how do you spend every day together? And how do you truly not need space? And how do you literally never leave each other?
Yeah.
Communication. Literally communication. So the point of this podcast kind of makes a lot of sense for us. I don't know. I wouldn't say that I am any form of perfect. Maybe
no.
I am. I don't know.
I would, as I say no, I was going to say no, but you are a lot better at that, truthfully, than I am.
Yeah, but I don't, but this is a longer topic to go into. I mean, we can go into it now. Why not? Why we're here. But communication is a very interesting thing, because it is two-sided. There are fully two separate perspectives and two sides to every story, no matter what, and they're both valid.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't communicate and you decide what your side is, but you don't let anybody know what the other side is, then you're never going to be able to have a conducive relationship. And then you can't trust the other person, whether or not you need the validation, or it has to be like right or wrong, or whatever the conversation might be. It could be as simple as like, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. Well, I do that all the time. But we had this conversation earlier.
I was going to say, he literally did that during dinner tonight.
But something in that communication and in the trust that we have with the communication that you forgot about for a moment, and that's why this conversation actually makes sense, is I don't like to beat around the bush at all. I am going to be very honest, and I'm going to tell you how I feel. So if you're going to ask me, what do you want? Or are you going to eat that? Or do you want that? And if I answer, I don't care, I'm not saying it because I'm being passive aggressive, because I don't want to make a decision, because it's too much effort. I'm literally saying it because I don't care. And if you're asking me because you want it, have it.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of spending all of my words on that and spending all of that extra energy to say all of that, I just go, I don't care. And either it's going to frustrate you like it did today, or you understand that I'm not going to make it something or whatever. And then you can just take that exactly as it is, because that is exactly as it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And like in the example of dinner tonight, I had to take a moment, and because it annoyed me in that moment. And I was like, you avoid answering questions by saying, I don't care. You didn't answer yes or no. And then it turned into this whole thing. But for a moment, I was assuming that he didn't want to answer the question. And then that goes into a whole other thing of like assuming and not communicating. But because I communicated that, it created this conversation, and then we actually cleared it up. And even though it can create uncomfortable moments, it's important to actually voice what you're thinking at times and voice your opinion, because I assume a lot. I guess it's just from being around him. I just assume that he's going to think this thing or do this thing. And that is not a constructive thing. Like, I shouldn't be assuming things. I should ask him.
I think that that's a bigger, deeper conversation that we're going to
It
go into
is.
at some point. But I think as far as the communication side of it,
Mhm.
I think that it was very good of you to have said, like, to voice your frustration or voice your annoyance that I do say I don't care a lot. Because there's a lot of times where we're doing something or having dinner or she's asking me my suggestion on, like, do you want this or this? And I genuinely do not care.
Mhm.
Genuinely couldn't care any less. And frankly, I'd rather have whatever you'd rather have because you've been doing whatever and you're making it and it's a bigger deal for you than it is for me right now.
Mhm.
Right? So for me, I'm like, I actually don't care. So I'd rather you have whatever makes you happier. Which
I love that. I
I
appreciate
could
that.
say it that way, but just inherently, I just go, I don't care. I don't care. Just do it.
Yeah.
Whatever's easier. Right? But that also leans into the annoyance. But if you had not said anything, you would have let that go for however long.
Yeah.
And then that's part of what makes our relationship actually work is because you are not afraid to tell me that you're annoyed with me.
Yeah.
Right? But that's good because then if you tell me you're annoyed and then I can tell you exactly the truth on it and remind you that I'm not saying it because I want to annoy you. I'm not saying it because I don't want to answer the question. I'm saying it because I literally don't actually care what the outcome is.
Yeah.
Either one is equally as pleasant to me. Whether
Yeah.
I get to have, it was over a waffle, whether I get to have a piece of a waffle or whether I don't get to have a piece of the waffle. I literally didn't care. She said, are you going to have that piece of the waffle? And I said, I don't care. Right? Which
Yeah.
I understand how that's annoying, but like also, truly to make it more philosophical or make it more wise, it was, I don't actually care if that's yours or not. We're making 3 more. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have more waffles. If you want that one right now, have it. Doesn't bother me. But for that to be the annoyance that triggered it, that's okay. That's great. I'm much happier that we had that conversation over something like that is very low stress and very low pressure, that it didn't really cause any issues outside of, oh gosh, are you eating it or am I eating it? I think we ended up splitting it anyway, which
Waffles are important. That's a high stress situation.
it is not a high stress situation, you little turd. Oh my gosh. You're so stupid.
Speaking of turds, so we named the podcast Glitter and Cat Litter. And
The pretty and the shitty.
I love that. So glitter and cat litter, not only is it just, all over our house.
That's not a that is a very low key fact. We have glitter genuinely everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's not mountains of glitter. It's like 1 or 2 little specks, just always. I would bet you right now that it's either on my feet or on her feet. I will almost guarantee you. And that is not to say that we do not clean the house pretty often.
We vacuum a lot.
We also have a robot vacuum that goes 5 to 6 days a week through our whole house. Our house is not that big. It does it in one whole sitting. It does the whole thing, but it misses glitter.
Yeah, still glitter.
Not to mention the cat litter.
So we do have 2 cats, Fred and Kevin. And
Kevin is a girl.
Kevin is a girl. So there is just cat litter, around. They go to the bathroom and they kick cat litter out. And so originally, when I was trying to come up with names for a podcast, I was sitting in here and I think I just looked around because I was trying to find inspiration from around the room. And I said it out loud and it rhymed. And I was like, oh, that might be it. And I feel like Taylor was a little uneasy at first with that one.
No, I remember when you said it. Also, a side note to this is this idea and the desire to do this podcast, this is like multiple years in the making. This is like 2021, I think, is when we came up with that name.
Probably, yeah.
We could probably find an email or something that has when we made the email address. But I remember you saying it, and I was we were sitting in here in this room in a different orientation of it, trying to see how we could make a podcast that would make sense for you and how we could do the video podcast thing with webcam,
yeah,
streamed guests and stuff, and we were just like nonchalantly talking about the name, and I was like, wait, that's actually brilliant. And I didn't really think that much outside of it because the podcast was not really involving me then. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
not involving me. Like, I was still going to be producing it, but I wasn't going to be on it. I wasn't going to be a co-host then.
Right.
And so that was very interesting because I was like, well, I don't need to worry about whatever the name is. I'm like, Glitter and Cat Litter, that's kind of funny, that's kind of cute. Okay, we can totally do a play on something like that. It works. It's kind of kitschy. I don't like saying it out loud, but like, it's fine. But then now, as I'm sitting here as like a co-host, I'm like, uh-oh.
You're in it.
I'm like, oh, are we gonna rename it?
I was like,
And
no.
she has a note list of like 100 names, and I'm all, there's only one that sticks out.
And it just works out because Glitter and Cat Litter, it's just like, it's a good thing and a bad thing
The dichotomy of life.
all in one. Like, there's highs, there's lows, there's good, there's bad. It's all of it.
Yeah, you know what? I have to read my note because I wrote something that I thought was very funny when I was writing this.
Go for it.
The dichotomy of the two is a lot like life. Sometimes it's wonderful, sometimes it's less than wonderful. But never fear. You can cover it with a little bit of good smelling, what did I say? A little bit of good smelling dusty gravel.
I did laugh at that.
Sometimes I have some good little nuggets of wisdom in there that are great. The nuggets. That's going to be a thing, isn't it?
You know what? When I hear the word nugget, I think
you've ruined me with this
one. I know where. No. I don't think you know what I'm going to say.
No, but I know what I think of when I think of a nugget.
He thinks of poop.
Not because it's my choice. It's because of her.
No, I think of the little Hershey's little things. I think they're called nuggets. The little treasure.
Are. The gold ones.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a little it's a nugget of gold.
It's a nugget.
It's a nugget of gold, right?
It's a nugget. Yeah, that's what I think of.
Oh, I don't like chocolate enough.
Oh, I love chocolate.
Well,
I love it.
Maybe one day. That's not going to happen.
Taylor's changed a lot in the past year. I don't know if that one's going to change.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to change into a chocolate connoisseur here anytime soon.
Oh, I could so easily.
You already are.
I am.
There's no changing that. I do like sweets more though. That's kind of fun and really dangerous.
Really, really dangerous.
It's really good. It's really bad for a waistline if I wasn't trying to watch it.
Okay, let's give them a little fun fact besides that. Can I ask you a question?
Well, I certainly hope you're capable of asking me a question.
What was your first job?
You don't remember.
Can you tell us a little about it?
But do you remember?
I do remember because you asked me out you didn't ask me out on a date. I guess you asked me out like to be your girlfriend when you were at that first job. You had just come from that first job.
I love that we're building this little bit of anticipation for literally the biggest letdown we're about to give everyone.
I don't think it's a letdown at all.
My first job was working at Pizza Hut. Now, said job at Pizza Hut actually was kind of cool. When I think back on it, there's some less than cool things about it, but I like the pizza from Pizza Hut, so I'm not going to ruin anything here.
This is not why he has a pizza tattoo.
I do have a pizza tattoo.
It is not because he worked at Pizza Hut, unless it is.
Unrelated. No, completely unrelated. I love pizza. Pizza is top tier. Pizza is the best food. Not true. Very good food.
Very good. Yes,
Some of the best food. No, so I worked at Pizza Hut. That was my first job. I was not allowed to be a driver. I think you had to be 18 then to be a driver. I was definitely not 18. So I think I was 16. But I worked as a cook and I worked as the front of house guy. And if you are our age or older,
which I am 31.
I am also 31. And you worked at a store, you probably worked with a green screen at some point. She looked at me like I was completely crazy. If you know, you know. If you don't know, be grateful.
He has still not explained this to me. Because before we started recording, I was like, what is that? Like, I don't understand because I just think a green screen, like you're going to put
No.
something on it,
No.
behind me.
No. It's not the background. A green screen computer, I'm going to butcher exactly what it is, but it basically was like old school computers, like
Okay.
old computing, not like an iPad or a phone. It was like it had a normal keyboard and you could type, but if you think like kind of like coding.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, it was literally like, you know what, a really good example, the Batman movie, the newest one, the one where it's with oh my gosh, Robert Pattinson, where the Joker has the computer screen and it like says stuff and then it like has the like dash 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 and then he says something else and then dash dash dash. That's exactly what it was. So when I was in the front of the store and I was answering the phones, it wasn't like an autofill. It knew where your address was. It could Google it. I had to type in the address, name it right.
Wild.
I had to spell it all right, get the address, everything right. And then I had to go through the process of your order, but I had to ask exact questions specifically related to how they were laid out on there because you can't skip around.
Right.
Because there's no mouse. It's only a keyboard.
Oh, that is high stress.
Well, it's not that stressful, but it's stressful enough to where...
get someone's pizza to them.
And we're talking about ordering it on these like complex menus of like, do you want any size pizza? Do you want this kind of sauce? Do you want this kind of cheese? You want less cheese? That's a different setting in the thingy that I got to note. Then there's another thing over here that you got to choose the other thing. And then the other...
the early days of the internet, you couldn't do that. How we do it now.
That was like without internet.
Well, I mean, internet existed.
But you didn't need the internet to do this stuff.
Right. I mean, you still don't.
They used MapQuest. It's like
if anyone listening or watching this remembers a Thomas guide
or MapQuest,
Delivery but MapQuest came later after Thomas guides were actual books, actual maps of places that you had to find where to go.
I'm going to just clarify really quick with you that you are not actually old enough to rely on a Thomas guide.
Though.
Because I am also not old enough to rely on a Thomas guide. I had a smartphone by the time we both had smartphones by the time we had cars. I had a Sidekick, okay?
I had a BlackBerry.
So, one was better than the other. Mine. Yes. Thomas guides are crazy. I would never have trusted anybody in a car with a friggin' map open while they're driving one-handed. That's way worse than texting and driving.
Really think about that. That's not smart. Anyway, so pizza.
I'm not cut out for jobs like that.
I'm not cut out for jobs.
I'm cutting straight to the point here. I'm not cut out for it.
Oh man. Why? What part of you is not? You're great at things like that. You're great at computers. You're great at being competent and answering questions.
I'm also good at cooking.
Yeah. It sounds like you're great at all of that.
I'm pretty good at cutting pizzas. I'm not bad at putting the boxes together.
Hey.
That's really easy, actually. I'm not cut out for those jobs. Because I'm very, very detail oriented and I strive to always do better than myself. I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist, but I really strive to be the best that I can be, and then next time be better than that best when I'm doing it. It's like a self-competitive thing. I'm not competitive at all with others. Very competitive to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And just working at a job like that, it's really just they want the minimum viable product. So if they say you need 1 ladle of sauce, if I almost one ladled it or over ladled it and then it wasn't like the perfect thing of pizza. I'm making an imaginary pizza right in front of me, by the way. If it wasn't like perfect and then the amount of cheese didn't like lay out on it right, I would like my well, I don't even have OCD, but my like perfectionism and like doing better in me would be like, I need to put more cheese because there's one spot that would piss me off if I didn't get it.
Totally,
like when I got my pizza, I know you're not going to see it. I know it goes in the oven and it kind of melts together, but like it's going to bother me. I'm the one making it's going to bother me.
This is telling a lot about you. This is great.
Yeah, sure. But like I don't do well because then that takes me more time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then I'm like, also I was absolutely terrified of touching one of the pizza pans coming out of the oven. I like, man.
the stress in your eyes right now.
The irrational fear. But there were some dudes that worked there with me that would always bring spicy peppers, and because then I was the same size as now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I used to have to say I was smaller than I am now. I'm very proud to say that I'm the same size. I am a small white boy, and most of the other chefs were Hispanic, and they always found it very funny that, and actually shocking that I loved spicy food.
Uh-huh.
And so like some of them, like a bunch of them grow peppers. Like, and I was like, that's so fascinating and so cool. So they would bring like for lunch and to like share, they would bring homegrown like habaneros and jalapenos and ghost peppers and serranos. They would literally bring them in.
That's
and
so
every
cool.
once in a while, some of them would be like, hey, I know you're about to cook a pizza. You want to have one right now? And we'll see who can hang. And I'd be like, you know the answer's yes. Also, you know I'm going to hang. And they're like, I don't know. This one's pretty hot. And I go, okay. And I eat it and I'm like, let's go. And I'm crying making these people's pizzas. It's just like, it's at like 1 PM.
Salting the pizza with tears.
I can't say I ever cried on a pizza. I can't say I ever cried over a pizza.
I've probably cried over a pizza.
But I've physically cried over a pizza. Just not like into the pizza. Just like I physically was crying as I was making it. So I'm crying over top of the pizza. It's a bad analogy. I'm done.
So my first job.
Yeah, what's your first job? We can get out of this. I don't need to talk about this any longer.
Well, my first job also involved pizza.
What?
Yeah. So.
Okay, hold on. Explain.
I will.
Hardly.
What do you mean hardly? It was either hot dogs or pizza. That's all I had to make. So I worked at the skating rink. My first job was working birthday parties at the skating rink. And I always say that's my only like normal job that I've ever worked was that. And I was very young. I think I had to get like a work permit or something from school or something strange like that. But I started working when I was 14, and it was amazing to me because I got to work birthday parties, which meant I dealt with a lot of parents, a lot of kids, obviously, but I could make a lot of money in tips. And it was so much fun for me to try to, not try to be nice. That was going to sound like so bad, but like, you know, the nicer you are.
I mean, you could, you might have to try
some days. But like the nicer you are, the better you are as a server, and like really making sure everything is great for this birthday party. Usually the more you would get tipped. And so that was really fun for me. It was really interesting. I'm glad I did it. I think it taught me a lot at a very young age of how to work with people, especially in like high stress situations, because yes, it's a birthday party at the skating rink. Like it is not the most important moment, but for these parents, it was the most important moment that this would go perfectly. And of course, things went wrong all the time. And so pizza was a really big deal because that was like the most expensive birthday party package that you could buy was the pizza party. And we would have like 4 birthday parties seated at the same time, which meant there was a lot of pizza that had to be made. And the hot dogs were a piece of cake because literally not a piece of cake, but there was a lot of cake involved. The hot dogs were really easy because they would just go on the tourney thing and like they would chill. But the pizza,
gas station thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the little tourney guys. But the pizza, they all had to go in their own ovens, like pizza ovens. And if you had 20 pizzas that needed to be made and you had 15 minutes between each seating, you were kind of screwed. So it was really important with time management, which is really funny that I am not the best with time management now, because back then I was a rock star with my time management with my pizzas. But
what happened?
I don't know. I don't know what happens. We grow up, we change. But do you know how long it takes to make a pizza at the skating rink?
7 minutes and 22 seconds.
Close. If you're in a hurry and you just need to get by, 8 minutes.
How long is it supposed to take?
I think 12.
Oh, that's like a half-cooked pizza. Oh, God. Those people, they need to give their tips back. That sucks.
They're not getting their tip back now. It's been years.
It's past the return policy. Yeah. No refunds. That's wild.
Yeah.
It's a 12-minute. Well, I guess I guess that's kind of close to Pizza Hut because if I recall, I think it was like 10. It might have been 12 minutes. Those ovens were like 900 degrees. It
They
was
were
like very
probably
hot.
much better than the skating rink
They were
ovens.
conveyor belt ovens. You could put like,
Oh, cool.
man, that's the honestly, there was one day, sorry to derail and back into Pizza Hut. I did not remember this until right now. This triggered me in the best way. There was this one day that I was on the oven on cooking and I was I think I was so there on the really really busy days. I mean, this is also old, so I don't know if they do it the same way or not, but like you used to on the really busy days there would be two cooks or three cooks,
Wow.
right? Because there's so many pizzas. I remember like the peak of like a Friday or a Saturday night,
Uh-huh.
there would be like 70 pizzas that had to go out in like an hour and a half. And you're
This
like,
is fascinating to
how
me.
does this work? But the conveyor belt makes sense. So
Okay.
I was the second, or rather the last cook,
Uh-huh.
which is kind of ironic because it's usually the worst cook, which makes sense because I was the one that was the perfectionist, so I don't do it the fastest, so I'm kind of the worst.
You were also like 16.
I was
so,
also like
yeah.
16. So that cook takes it at the end of the line, puts whatever else needs to go on it, and puts it in the conveyor belt oven.
Okay.
So I'm the one putting them in the conveyor belt oven, and you have to just like layer them because they go at a specific speed through the oven. And there's 3 ovens that they had at that Pizza Hut that I worked at. So there's
Like on
3
top of
layers.
each other?
Yeah. So there's a low one, a mid one, and a high one. And you can put to heat them up and cook the pizzas. I think you can have like 90 pizzas in there at one time. But you can't, but they have to like conveyor in there. So they go really slow. So you have to like put one, wait for it to go in. You can put like 3 in a row.
I've
wait
never
for them to go.
wanted to tour a Pizza Hut so bad.
It's such a wild, I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be glamorous or anything exciting. Like if you go through Pizza Hut, but like,
It might be.
I just remember the whole reason I'm telling this and giving you the visual of this is I remember being in that position. And you know, when you get to the end of like the rush where it can slow down a little bit and you like can take a breath and like it's going to pick back up or whatever, but like you have a moment to like see what the heck you're experiencing and what you're doing for a moment instead of just doing everything really quick.
Yeah.
This was this one moment where like we had filled the ovens. So anything that was making, I had to wait. So I like literally it stopped me because there was too much.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, okay. And I'm standing there and I'm like, this is so fascinating. We have 3 ovens at like an unfathomably high temperature that like I can't understand and I don't want to get close to it. It's hot. I don't even want to stick my hand in it. Like it's very
Yeah,
hot. Like
yeah.
clearly like it's not.
You're sweating.
Yes. And I'm like, but the well-oiled machine of this whole process is wild. You have these
Yeah.
people teeter-tottering making these pizzas very quickly. You have this other dude who's putting them into the oven and then making sure they get out of the oven. And then you have another guy that's also making sure they get out of the oven, make sure they like all the boxes are made and they're getting cut
Yeah.
and put into the right box with the right stickers. And then they go into the boxes where they go or into the carry out. And then they have delivery drivers and it's all happening like flawlessly. And I'm like, we are all getting paid nothing to be here. And
But we're doing an awesome job.
and it's happening and everybody's getting their pizza and we're on time and nobody's in trouble and everything is good. And I'm like,
Wow.
what on earth is it? It was like one of those experiences where I don't know why it was worth the conversation or worth like me even having this like existential experience with it. But I'm like, this is cool.
That is really amazing.
This is cool. And I'm like, now I'm like, it's cool, but it's not that cool.
And
Like,
I'm over here like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, it was really fascinating. Like it was very cool, but I'm like, I go into Fuoco. There's this pizza place. Oven is imported from Italy. I'm not joking. It's the best pizza I've had in the world. I've had pizza from Italy. I have not been to New York yet, but like, you know,
Yeah.
kind of bets are off. I've had pizza in Italy. I've had pizza here. I've had pizza in Spain. I've had pizza all over, genuinely all over the world. This is the best pizza I've ever had consistently.
I agree.
for many years.
I've also had pizza
Not
in
sponsored,
a lot of places.
but that's part of why I have this. But I go in there and I see that oven and I go, it's a standard like brick oven.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, I don't even, the well-oiledness of 90 seconds and I have my pizza.
Yeah.
I don't even get it. I don't understand. I don't need to.
No.
I don't need to, but I love it. Gosh, man. Oh,
wow.
I want pizza now.
Well,
it's late.
You want to get coffee instead?
It's late. Yeah. Yeah. It's late though.
This is the internal struggle all the time is like, I want coffee. I love coffee. And even when it's late, I want coffee.
I'll drink more coffee. You want to drink more coffee?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And then we'll go to bed pretty quick.
Sure.
Just pound some coffee and peace out.
Why not?
I'm into it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been our first episode. It's a bit different, I think. We haven't recorded the other episodes, but I feel like it's a bit different. It's a lot more directed at us and about our life experiences. And
we hope you enjoyed it.
I really hope you enjoyed it. If you've made it this far, genuinely thank you so, so much for being here.
We really do appreciate you.
I can't explain how much joy I get from just having this conversation and how hopefully that any of these conversations literally do anything for you, whether they make you happy, sad, mad, a combination of all of them at the same time, inspired.
But please,
maybe they give you a little gas. I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Please like and subscribe and follow and review and all the things. It will really help us out, and we really, really appreciate it.
Oh, and if you want the episodes early, we have on our website, tandfiore.com, or on YouTube, you can subscribe, and there is a tier that is the episodes early, and that supports us and makes this whole thing happen more, and you get the episodes early and some other health and fitness
nuggets
videos, but also nuggets if you want them.
So you'll get the podcast early on Thursdays, and they will regularly come out everywhere on Tuesdays.
At 6 a.m. Pacific time.
Specific.
Both. Yes. Both times. It's
So
specific time. Okay.
So thank you for being here.
Thank
we
you
really
very
appreciate
much.
you. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Well, see you later.